My current prediction is that we will go into a recession in 2024. This is my opinion. Please make sure to listen to the disclaimer at the end of this podcast episode. I do strongly believe over the next few months, we're going to start seeing some differences in this unemployment rate, which could have a big impact on the economy. Welcome to episode 30 of the Visionary Investor Podcast. Personally, I still think a recession is on its way, and with stronger numbers seeing PCE coming in at 2.6%, many may be looking at this as an opportunity for positive news coming in 2024. However, when we look at a few different factors, we notice some interesting trends that do lead towards a recession in 2024. For instance, if we look at industrial production, the total index, which is a factor that NBER and the Federal Reserve are tracking closely, currently this number is below the averages. If we look at industrial production from 1962 through 2022, and we take out both recession time periods and any time period after the 10-year Treasury minus 3-month T-bill inversion, we notice that industrial production total index is about 0.39. Looking at some of the most recent readings, we actually had a negative 0.89 reading in October and 0.24 in November. There are signs of certain numbers looking stronger, but overall, a lot of the numbers that we use in our recession warning model are pointing towards a recession coming soon. When we look at all employees, non-farm payrolls rose by a seasonally adjusted 199,000 in November, which was better than the gain of 150,000 in October. However, it's important to understand that this is still below the average when we look again from 1962 through November of 2022, taking out from when the inversion happens until the end of the recession, since that's a more volatile time period, all employees or jobs added was 224,000 on average. So the 199,000 reading that we got in November is still below the average of this time period. On top of that, I think we're going to notice some lower numbers in 2024. Auto workers added about 30,000 jobs as a result of ending strikes. So it's important to look at a broader sense here and notice that there is strain on the economy. I took a look at PCE versus unemployment rate, housing, and Fed funds rate over the past 8 recessions, and here's what I found. There's no question that housing units started has been declining over the past year to 2 years time period. Now, if we look at PCE inflation at 2.6% and the unemployment rate at 3.7%, while there's obviously been a pretty big uptick in the Fed funds rate since 2021, at this point, it would look like inflation is more under control. However, I do strongly believe over the next few months, we're going to start seeing some differences in this unemployment rate, which could have a big impact on the economy. There's no question that the economy is under strain, and as we continue to also see consumer spending decrease over these next few months, a different picture is going to start taking place in the first few months of 2024. I'll be following the housing units started pretty closely to see if there's any drastic change with that metric. But currently, even though it has been declining slowly over the past 2 years, it's above the average from 1962 through November of 2022. The reading, though, that came in October of 2023 of 1.4 million was below the average of 1.5 million. And likewise, while we see real personal income has increased over these past few months, it's also still below the average from 1962 through November of 2022. There's a high chance, as I've said before, and as of the date of this recording, which is December 22nd, 2023, that the S&P 500 continues to rise above the 5,000 mark. However, make sure you have strategies in place in the case that we do go into a recession in the first or second quarter of 2024. I never say this to scare anyone. I say this to help you be prepared, because in the past, as you've heard me talk about, over the past 8 recessions, the S&P 500 alone, from the start of a recession to the low point on a monthly level, has decreased about 24%. Overall, why it seems like inflation may finally be under control, over the next few months, we'll really get a better handle as to whether this is true. And we're going to understand more of what's going on behind the unemployment rate, housing units started, real personal income, and industrial production. Will that continue to fall? Will that become negative again and stay negative? What's going on with the economy overall? My current prediction is that we will go into a recession in 2024. This is my opinion. Please make sure to listen to the disclaimer at the end of this podcast episode. I just wanted to come on to share a little bit more about what I'm currently seeing with the economy. And through the recession model that we've been analyzing for the past 10 years, I definitely see a lot more stress on the economy than it may appear from some headlines. If you're interested in learning more about this model, we teach it inside of our one-on-one program, and we also teach it in some investing workshops. So please reach out for more information to teach this to your friends, family, company, or organization that you may be in charge of. Understanding the economic landscape and business cycles will help you not only be a better owner, entrepreneur, and investor, but it will help you with all aspects of your own portfolio, and as well with helping you understand where we are in those cycles to determine what the best course of action is. You can take this information and use it to have better conversations with your advisor around what strategies and plans to put in place over this next year time period. As I say, always make sure you're investing in strong assets, especially when we're near, or you think we're near, a recession, because the last thing you want is to see large declines in your portfolio, panic, and then sell. So instead, definitely consult your advisor if you have one. If not, make sure to do your own due diligence, because you're really going to want to be smart during this next 3 to 6 month time period. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast, and have a great day. Disclaimer: this recording and the information contained within is for educational purposes only. The Visionary Investor does not offer any personal financial advice or advocate the purchase or sale of any securities or investments for any specific individual. We are not financial professionals and make no claims to be. Everything shared by us here, on social media, or elsewhere, including all videos, materials, documents, and any other information, are for educational purposes only. Investing of any kind involves risk. It's imperative that you conduct your own research before making any investments. We will not assume liability of any kind for any losses that may be sustained as a result of applying any methods taught by the Visionary Investor. Please click on the link in the description to read our full disclaimer on our website.